Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name is Bob Waldron, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at Games Workshop's new release of their Primaris Apothecary. Really cool miniature. It's around about the £22, £50 mark or something like that. So let's just open it up. Nice little bit of box art on the back. It does show you all sorts of lovely little bits of detail for the actual miniature and everything, all nicely painted up. We'll just open this up, and inside what we will find to start off with is we've got some instructions, we've got 2 screws, we've got our base and some decals. Quick look at our decals just here. They are upside down to start with. They are the ultramarines, but you know, hopefully you can sort of agree, you know, they're going to be you know, rather cool. These do go on rather nicely. I do tend to use like the Mr. Mark range, but you could probably go away with the Salt and Set if you want to go down that route. But they are well detailed and in registry. And then what we have with our first sprue is, hopefully you can agree, we've got some lovely detail for a base here, which is supposed to represent him like putting his foot on him and ripping out his gene seed. Looking at the rest of the model, it's, you know, got some really good detail, you know, recessed areas, rivet areas, you know, the plastic's looking nicely sort of smooth in areas. It's not like deformed or rough. Usual sort of backpack. We've got his head with helmet on just here. Bring you in a little bit closer, which has got some nice little bits of detail on there. Right, we've even also got a head without the helmet, which we can nicely see. Eyes, mouth, nose, all those lovely bits of detail. Turning it over, we've got his weapon just here, and flash wise, I mean, yeah, we've got like a little bit of sort of flash around it, which is kind of expected really, but it is kind of light, so just a little bit of sort of, you know, getting rid of those seam lines should be no problem at all. We've got the his shoulder pads here, and then we've got all sorts of little, you know, bits of the medical equipment stuff that goes on the backpack, which is looking well detailed, nice and crisp, and no issues with that. We do have him holding here the gene seed just in his hand just there, and then he's also got this other weapon option as well, pistol wise. Then a quick look at the instructions. With the instructions, let's just zoom you out. There's a nice little booklet here, which, you know, we've got a nice bit of pictures on the front. We then have this nice new sort of color scheme, which is rather cool, where it sort of shows you where everything's going and makes it a bit more clearer of how it's all built together. It does show you options for which weapons to pick, and even some of the medical equipment. We've got some sort of options there, but apart from that, it doesn't show you any sort of different poses. With this model, you're probably going to have to play around with it a bit if you want to sort of give it different poses, or maybe buy a second one or something like that. It does look like you can move his arms and stuff in different ways, and his head and stuff, but apart from that, you're going to probably have to do a bit of scratch building to really sort of change his pose. Then we have some stats with this one. I mean, he's got some nice standard sort of stats. His pistols, you know, are sort of, you know, upgraded normal sort of bolt pistols, but apart from that, his real ability is his sort of what he does on the battlefield, which is a special ability which allows him to basically, if he's within 3 inches of an infantry or a bike model, he can restore D3 wounds to that model, or he can, on a 4+, revive a single slain model, which is rather cool ability to have if you put him behind one of your sort of special units, and you can just keep bringing them back, which is rather cool. So that's everything. Let's get it built and see what it's like built and how it builds together. And so here it is, all nicely built up. In all honesty, the instructions were very easy to follow, and it was very easy to build. There was no sort of fit issues or problems, except for it is rather delicate. For instance, we have, and it's actually starting to come off again, this little piece here. I mean, that has broken off. I've had to glue that into place because the problem is you've got pieces left over from the sprue that you need to cut off and sand down and all this kind of stuff, and it is really sort of delicate. Same up here. I had a bit of sprue that I had to cut off here on this little handle on its surgical light, and that broke off also. This is a very delicate piece that you really sort of need to be careful when getting rid of all your seam lines and cutting off any bits of leftover sprue. But apart from that, it does go together really well, and it does look rather amazing actually. I mean, it looks a lot better than the box art, in all honesty, when it's in person. There's so much detail around it, so it is a definite really big thumbs up for the Primaris Apothecary from Games Workshop. So yeah, absolutely fantastic, well recommended. So until next time, mine is by Wilderness Gems Models, and I hope you've enjoyed.